Hello, I'm CJ Wellerman, and in this episode, we reveal Israel's hidden agenda in the American adult film industry. But first, please remember to like and subscribe to our show. Now let's get into it. Look, I know what you're thinking, but you're wrong. I did not watch a lot of porn as part of my research for this episode. Mostly because I didn't need to, given the evidence for Israel's hidden hand in the adult film industry is hiding in plain sight, although hardly anyone in the mainstream media is willing to talk about it. You see, pornography, like any form of media, is just another means of communication. And what the state of Israel does better than any other country is to seize control of media production companies. And I mean all forms of media, including cable television networks, newspapers, Hollywood film companies, and adult film studios. This total subservience to the Zionist agenda is well documented. But less known is the way Israel has embedded itself within the porn industry to advance its political agenda. As reported 23 years ago, when Israeli forces seized control of 3 Palestinian television stations in the occupied West Bank, and then broadcasted porn into the living rooms of Palestinian families. Today, we have Zionists like Michael Lucas, an Israeli citizen who runs a major gay porn studio called Lucas Entertainment in New York City. He is one of the leading figures behind the effort to pinkwash Israel's criminal occupation by marketing the Jewish state to Western audiences as a uniquely gay-friendly country in a predominantly Muslim corner of the world. He was behind a tourism campaign titled Israel Has Never Looked Sexier, featuring gay Israeli men, and a documentary titled Undressing Israel, Gay Men in the Promised Land. But more recently, he wrote his name on Israeli bombs that were dropped on innocent women and children in Gaza, and then later received a personal thank you note from an IDF platoon for his monetary donation towards their genocidal actions in the Palestinian territory. He now complains about being cancelled for his pro-genocide views, while claiming he's the victim of a Soviet-style hush campaign.
And in a very Soviet style, condemn him or else. This is exactly like it was in Soviet Union. If someone is accused in something, and someone is well known, then everyone have to condemn this person. And it's exactly that, under this pressure. Because, not everyone is anti-Semitic in the adult industry. Some models are anti-Semitic, and some just don't know anything about the conflict and got an impression that Israel is an aggressor and Palestinians are underdogs. So,
the Israeli porn industry is booming, and it's not just about sex. It's also about power and influence, according to an Israeli newspaper. It's about pushing pro-Israel and anti-Palestinian content wherever eyeballs gather online, and nowhere attracts more views than pornography websites, remembering that traffic in the adult world is greater than that of Netflix, Amazon, and Twitter combined. But here's the point. Israel and the United States have weaponized porn by adding to its arsenal of tools to win hearts and minds in the Arab world. You see, both countries believe that selling Western sexual norms, ideals, and fantasies to Arab men will help degrade Islamic values and then ultimately the Arab family unit. I know it sounds crazy, but the idea of separating Islamic men from their religious and cultural values was the motive behind the Bush administration's so-called porn invasion of the Middle East during the early 2000s. The Snowden leaks reveal how US spy agencies used porn sites to target so-called radical Muslims and blackmail and shame journalists and activists into silence.
Huffington Post obtained documents from NSA leaker Edward Snowden. According to the report, the NSA tracked the online porn habits of 6 Muslim extremists who were trying to convert others to radical Islam.
Today, Israel's grubby fingerprints are all over the porn industry. So much so that Israeli political and tourism advertisements now run on the world's largest porn site, Pornhub, which recently made global headlines for monetizing and profiting from sexual abuse and human trafficking.
Trafficking Hub is solely, specifically about holding Pornhub accountable for. They found dozens of illegal videos on the site She was found in 58 videos being raped and abused on the site. They were begging for those videos to be taken down. They say, even after I'm dead, I know that people will be getting money and pleasure from the worst moments of my life.
Pornhub is owned by a company called Ethical Capital Partners. Its CEO is a Jewish rabbi named Solomon Friedman. He was ordained in occupied Jerusalem, but now oversees the world's largest porn site, the site charged with platforming and monetizing child sexual abuse and rape. Which, when you think about it, makes Friedman the ideal candidate, given he lived in Israel, otherwise known as the child rape capital of the Middle East. Israel is where American Jewish pedophiles flee to escape law enforcement in the United States. Even Israeli newspapers describe the Jewish state as the promised land for pedophiles, while its politicians move to pass new laws that lower the age of consent from 16 to 14. This truly is a deranged and demented society, to quote a former Israeli president. But let's circle back to Rabbi Solomon Friedman and this Time magazine article, which states his objective at Pornhub in black and white, even pointing to the fact that his status as an ordained rabbi is a key to selling what the porn site claims to be ethical pornography. His job is to not only steer the company through its child sex abuse scandal, but also normalize pornography throughout the Muslim world.
Businesses you guys could buy. Why did you guys target buying Pornhub?
Yeah, so we saw an extraordinary opportunity. The fact that it's newsworthy or noteworthy that we've made the acquisition, that should tell you that this is a space that has not had mainstream investment, right? That it's a space, I always said, when we looked at the business, it's a business that's legal. Not only is it legal, but in every Western democracy, it's constitutionally protected. It could not be outlawed, even if you wanted to, but it doesn't have that legitimacy. And one of the reasons for that, and as we started to examine the business further, was that nobody wanted to say we are the owners of a major adult company, right? Everyone, they wanted the benefits of owning a major adult company. It's a profitable business, but nobody wanted to be out front and engaging with other tech businesses, with government, with law enforcement, with regulation in that sort of way that the modern tech industry has to. So we saw in that this arbitrage opportunity, right? Where if people who come from the mainstream professional networks, whether it's law enforcement, tech, finance, et cetera, this is an opportunity to really bring this industry into the 21st century. We saw an extraordinary opportunity to do that with this, this jewel of an asset, Pornhub, but obviously with the entire company.
I love it. You said jewel of an asset. So,
presumably, Friedman was chosen to defend Pornhub over its underage sex scandal because of his previous experience in defending pedophiles during his career as a high-end attorney. In 2018, he even advised a room full of lawyers on how to negotiate shorter prison sentences for clients charged with pedophilia.
What you want to do is take your offender and distinguish them from these larger trends. That is to say, yes, this is happening and this evidence is not contested, but my case is different. So you want to distinguish your client on the basis of not just the number of images. That was an old game. That was, X number of images, that nets you this amount. You have to go farther than that because as we talk about viewing the images in court, the trial judge viewing a representative sample, there are some images where if you have one of them, you'd rather have hundreds of a different type, or there are images that are just, on their own are so horrific. So you want to look really, and I say look, try to avoid looking if you can, but be able to categorize this in terms of what type of collection is this.
It should come as no surprise that Pornhub is also a huge financial backer of the Israeli lobby. It even punishes porn stars who express public support for Palestine by stealing their earned income and then donating the proceeds to Israel, as it did with Arab adult actress Mia Khalifa last year. A similar story can be told about the super popular adult site OnlyFans, which is owned by Jewish-American businessman Leonid Radvinsky, who donated $1 million to the Israeli lobby immediately after the October 7 attacks. Money that was used to help Israel manufacture consent for its subsequent genocide in Gaza. Were you to put this another way, you could argue that the ad revenue generated from people watching pornography online directly funds the Israeli military and its criminal occupation. Remember this the next time somebody says, porn harms nobody, because porn revenues do indeed support the Zionist state, which inflicts the worst human rights abuses imaginable on the Palestinian people. Maybe this explains why an astonishing 25% of Israelis are addicted to porn. Do they think they're killing Palestinians every time they masturbate? It's a fair question, given 82% of Israelis want Gaza completely cleansed. But the broader point here is, the adult film industry is heavily intertwined with Israel and its quest for total domination in the Middle East. The world's most popular websites, from Pornhub to OnlyFans, are not only selling sex, but also shaping narratives and influencing global agendas on behalf of the Zionist lobby. Our mission is to expose every one of these clandestine operations. But that's all I have time for today. Please remember to subscribe to this channel, and we kindly ask you please support our effort to expose and confront injustices in the Muslim world by becoming a member of this show at patreon.com/CJWerleman. We can't produce, sustain, and grow this show without your help, and we offer exclusive benefits to those who do. But for now, good night, good morning, wherever you are, and stay blessed.